Tiff, can you start with an injury update on Hideki and also Mandraker as well?
Mandraker, unfortunately, is ruled out for tomorrow. The risk to reward of him playing it just doesn't compute for him to play. We don't want to risk long-term injury. It could come off the bench, but again, we don't know the quality of the minutes that he'll be able to give. So it's more precautionary in making sure that, that we're more concerned about his safety for the game against MacArthur and making sure that he's ready for those games. So so he won't be involved tomorrow. And unfortunately, Hideki scan came back. He did his ACL last week, so he'll be out for the rest of the season.
How much of a blow was that?
Look, goes without saying, I'm actually gutted for Hideki. In terms of numbers, last year I think he was the highest assist of any 10 that we've ever had at the club. It was going to be second year. He found it a little bit difficult last season to adapt initially, but there was a lot of value in him as a player. He's a great person as well. And I'm just gutted for him, and I know the group is gutted for him as well.
Can you find replacements? Do you have to wait for transfer?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit. It's a little bit of a tricky process in terms of just the qualification rules for insurance, how it looks. Being in visa as well, there's some other legal requirements. So we're just sorting through that. If we get the all clear, then we'll be looking to get someone in if it's possible.
Do you have, now that you've had a chance to review it, have an issue with the challenge on him?
Well, I'm a little bit worried. I'm a little bit worried about the discretion the referees are using at the moment in terms of, I understand they're allowing a lot more to go in terms of letting the game flow. I think what is being missed is sometimes intensity of the challenges and so on. So I firmly believe there might have been a couple of yellow cards that might have initiated earlier, which would have meant, that maybe, Mariners calmed down with the tackles and maybe the incident wouldn't have happened. But again, I agree with the referees allowing things to flow, but there also needs to be some sort of judgment that's used, and you can review and the VAR process there to catch it. But no different to last year when Corbin got absolutely smashed against Piñaka as well. I just hope that the referees protect us tomorrow when the game gets a little bit physical.
So what are your options in terms of replacing him? We saw Anaru come on for his debut last weekend. Is he someone who could be ready to start in a big game like a derby? Is Rami capable of starting? What are your options there to replace it?
I'm still navigating through that. It really, my priority is to get Rami on the pitch. It will just depend on how he pulls up after training today. But again, if I have to use Anaru as a starter, there's no problem there. It's more my concern is around depth and who comes off the bench, how it can change a game if that's what's warranted tomorrow night. But there's a little bit of planning on the coaching side. Again, no different to the other game.
What are your expectations for the derby tomorrow?
My expectations is we stick to the game plan, stick to our brand of a brand of football, taking risks, being brave. Also putting in a show for the fans and making sure they have something to wave their flag to. I understand last year's performances, probably, the last game especially wasn't, what the fans expect, but I think what they expect is for us to give 100%, and that's all I want for tomorrow.
How do you win this game?
By scoring more goals.
How do you score? I mean, you've had lots of opportunities in the first 2 or 3 games. Is it a similar process against a team that is defensively sound and have only let one in 3 games, where you do the same things, use the same principles?
I mean, there are certain tweaks that we would, that we accommodate for an opposition, no different to any other game. But again, for us, it's more about the intention, and the intention for 90 minutes. That's the most important thing. And for me and for the coaching staff, the primary one is that we never give up, irrespective. We could cop a goal tomorrow early in the first minute. That's no reason to give up. We could be down 3-0 at half time. That's no reason to give up. And what this group has shown is that they're very resilient. There's a certain belief, a cohesion within the group that's very strong. Something that's very hard to actually transcend from a coach into a playing group. The feeling is amongst the group, and they built that over the last couple of months. But I think I've stressed this before. We need these games in order for us to mature as a team. No different to when I took over. There were a couple of big games throughout the year that made us a better team. And again, for us, our focus is on ourselves, and that's it.
How much courage will it take for the team to play the same way tomorrow on such a big night?
My requirement and my expectation is that courage is, it's a non-negotiable. Will the players feel fear? Yes. Auckland players will feel fear, no different to when they felt fear when they first started. The real question is, who deals with that fear, it can overcome it and stay in the moment and stick to the game plan. So they're a little bit more regimented, they're defensive orientated, they're well drilled, their playing model is simple but effective, and we have to respect that. But for us, if we want to be on the front foot, we have to take the risk. We have to take it to them. And for me, that's a beautiful thing about football. It often doesn't reward the brave. Always usually the ones that are disciplined. But again, you can be disciplined in bravery as well.
How keen are you to get onto the front foot and show positive intent straight away tomorrow night?
I think derbies have a different feel to that. I think the intensity is already magnified at the start of the game. Both teams don't want to make mistakes. We will take the mindset of, if there's an opportunity to be made and an opportunity to be exploited, we'll take it in the first minute. But it could be that it takes a long time for them to be broken down, no different to Brisbane, pending obviously the weather circumstances and so on. I think it's very important that we as a team recognise that if it doesn't happen in the first 10 minutes, it will happen at some stage in the game, and we need to capitalise on it. But then again, we have to also defend very well. We have to maintain discipline and putting pressure on the ball, maintaining the line. And again, if we execute those things well, we'll make a lot of chances.
How do you evaluate the readiness, the ability of your back three? I'm guessing here, Sheridan, Hughes, can he yield to deal with Auckland's attacking threats without a dream shows there?
I think they're going to deal with it like they did last week. I think last week the interruption of Mandrake coming out -1 was not ideal preparation. The same as Hughesy being declared unfit against Perth on the day before. We've had these disruptions, but again, I think the group is very resilient, very strong. The focus is very, very attuned to not making excuses and more about seeing what's ahead and always making a positive of the circumstances. So whoever starts tomorrow, I have the utmost faith. I have the utmost faith in the bench. I think the bench is where we'll win the game. And, it's a matter of those players to have that focus. And, looking forward to it.
Just one more from me. Do you believe in scars in football? Are there players who played last year out here, played derbies last year, who will have scars from last year?
No, I don't think so. It's a different team. It's a different environment. Some of the existing players will use that as fuel. They won't use it as a reminder or use it to bank and make it fearful. There's nothing of that. The boys are more mature as well. A lot of those boys that played were younger as well. Probably didn't experience that sort of intensity. Very hard to replicate in most ALeague games, or let alone a Central League game or so on. So they're going to be better for it. And what I see is a very determined group that wants to make sure that we get the result first, play our football, and make sure that we stand for who we are.
How's Finn Conchi? It came off.
Yeah, so I think you saw with the initial tackle with Steele for the free kick, he picked up the strain in his groin, and it was more precautionary taking him off, making sure that we didn't have two players that had long-term injuries. But again, for me, getting him fit and making sure that he's ready for the derby is very important for us, because what he's shown, his adaptability in that 10, he can also come down, plays an 8 or a 6 in our system, and is actually very smart counter presser as well. So he's very important in making sure that we get him on the park.
A few questions from TVNZ as well. Auckland FC, obviously, was bragging rights, winning the 3 derbies last year. How was that ceremony?
I don't really have a comment about that. That's last year, you know. I remember, Real Madrid losing 5-0 to Barcelona in 2011, and then 5 years later, you know, it was the flip score. So, you know, that's parked. That's, you know, that's history. I mean, if they want to keep talking about that, then, you know, that might mean that they lose focus on the now. We're just worried about what's happening tomorrow.
Does the doubleheader with the Phoenix women add to the occasion of tomorrow?
I think it's great. I think it's a good initiative. Looking forward to the work Bev and the women's coaching staff have done with the ALeague team. And I think that, you know, for fans that can get here and afford to get here, I think it'll be a big occasion, and for the people watching at home.
Another big question, mascots.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of what Auckland's made of all this situation with that?
I don't know what's happening with the mascots, but I'm not quite sure if there's a lot of mascots from the opposition that float around in home games. So, I'll just leave that unsaid.
And there's another one about the crowd. How important is it that there's a big crowd here, and how big a role do they play in just have success?
Yeah, so I probably take the viewers pretty disappointed with what Steve said yesterday in terms of, I felt it was like a bit of a dig at the way we were marketing the game and getting, you know, people to the game. I felt as though there's a little bit of tone, deafness there on his part. You know, at the moment, New Zealand in general is, going through a tough time economically, you know. Wellington especially, you know, it's lost almost 30% in house values, you know, unemployment's on the rise, the cost of living, you know, I wouldn't say in crisis yet, but it's difficult. So coming to a game like this, you know, the tickets, unfortunately, you know, with costs is not, you know, it's not cheap, but, you know, our fans try and do whatever they can. So, you know, for us, you know, we want as many people here as we can. I think after hearing what I heard yesterday, I think what I'm going to do is, probably purchase 100 tickets myself, go out tomorrow and look for fans from both sides that can't get to the game and get them to enjoy the experience.